I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Project Architect 2. So today is the big day, the day that we dive into RFTools Dimensions in Project Architect 2. And today we hopefully will be able to find a dimension or craft a dimension that is going to provide us with enormous amounts of EMC, allowing us to really start to dig our teeth into automation very soon, which will allow me to more effectively dive into our quests here and to get all of the rest of this adventuring stuff nice and done. Now, what exactly is needed to get into RFTools Dimensions in here? Well, first we needed to have killed the Wither, which we ended up setting up last episode, and we set up the spawner rooms in here, and now we have blazes that are just kind of running every now and then and Wither skeletons that are running every now and then. They're not fully upgraded yet, but will be very soon. But already this is produced a ton of Wither skeleton skulls, allowing me to make as many Withers as need be inside of our Wither killing protection box. So now jumping back into the quest book, let's take a look at the starting out chapter. And I've tried my best when I was making these quests to sort of explain the best way possible how RFTools Dimensions work, but of course I'm going to be explaining it here in the video as well. Our main goal and our main sort of limiting factor is actually making the dimensional tabs themselves. And to do this, you're going to need shulker shells, and you're also going to need dimensional cells that are in the advanced tier and a nether star in order to do this. And these are kind of expensive, and there's actually some stuff that we're going to have to gather before we can even start today. So now first things first is locating ourselves an ocean monument. So we are going to need to find ourselves an ocean monument. It's going to be somewhere, looks like right here. And we need to, for one, take down the Elder Guardians. This is not going to just be for today's episode. This is actually going to help us in the future underneath the Elder Guardian chapter. We need to get ourselves some slabs of Elder Guardian, and that is actually going to be required. So that means we're going to have to take down an Elder Guardian with a diamond knife. That's how you actually get the slabs. But we also need prismarine, and prismarine is going to be one of the main parts of actually making the RFTools shards. After following the compass, I am here. Time to activate night vision mode. Oh, this place is so pretty. All of these blocks for our taking, but of course, I do want to take out the Guardians. So I do need to pop down through here. Look at that little fella. I want to go right up here. By the way, you should get yourself a trident right off the bat. There's one typically hanging in the door there. But through here is where I'm going to need to go. We got to hunt down all three of these guys. Oh boy, there's already one. One has now officially gone after us. Oh man, and you know, finding this through the maze can be kind of tricky, especially with the mod that is in here, the Youngs, that kind of changes how this thing spawns. After a few twists and turns, you should find the corridors, just like I am, and I'm on the hunt. I'm on the hunt. We might actually be able to see where it's at on the map. No, I can't tell the difference between what's a Guardian and what's an Elder Guardian. Oh, but right here. Here's our first victim. So I'm going to knock this down a little bit here. 19, that's pretty good. And then use the knife. The knife is the most important part, as that is how we get those slabs. Oh, that is perfect. So now we have ourselves some slabs, but I need to take out the rest of these guys so we can get that mining fatigue off of us. Ooh, up these stairs, there should be one. There should be a total of 3. Aha, very, very close. Ah, and here is the other one. Yes. I'm going to take you out. I'm going to take this one out normally now that I got that slab that I needed. Because I don't think we need more than one of them, right? No, we just need one for right now. So, there we go. Get absolutely wrecked. Now, in this area, there's a chest back here. It is 100% worth grabbing. And look at that. Get yourself some Nautilus shells. I ended up getting mine last episode, but yeah, this is more than good. Now, there should be another one. We've got to go down this side. I think we have like Dolphin's Grace or something. This, oh, this leads us. Yeah, this should be another area right here. Very interesting. I have to land. It's so much easier if we have the flight. Huh. Yeah, this little hole actually has nothing in here. I was expecting a Guardian to be in here. Oh, you know what? It maybe is because it's down here. Yeah. Let's take those guys out real quick. Oh, it's definitely down one of the other hallways. So there's like a total of 4 hallways, I think. This being one of them. Aha. Here it is. Guarantee it's in here, right? Right? Maybe it's a little further down the hallway? to continue on. You know what? I think I might have accidentally taken one of them out with the AoE ability, but that's completely fine. All we really needed was a little bit of prismarine and the ability to grab these blocks, which we now can do, which is perfect. One thing I don't want to forget is this back area right here is the enclosed space. So now that we don't have mining fatigue, look at all these gold blocks we get access to. There's so many of them. I got to change this to shapeless. And there we go. Several blocks of gold. So now after all of that, we should have the ability to now craft all of these dimensional shards. So the only thing that's going to be required for this is to have had some emerald production, which we do. I do have emeralds automated from a villager with some sticks. And we also need some iron and gold. We have that already automated. And then just some EMC-able items. So we can set up an autocraft easily for these dimensional shards now. So let's go ahead and grab that. And then I just need to add it to my auto crafting list. And I just need to make sure that I add this stuff to it. For example, the prismarine was something that I definitely don't have in my storage, but now I can feed it in here for right now. And we should be able to now request a bunch of these. Ooh, we're going to need a lot of diamonds. Now, another thing that we could do is potentially go to the end and start hunting for this stuff as well. Like, that is another way that we can do this. It looks like, for example, like 100 of these, right? We're going to need quite a few of them. Another way is by using our fortune pick and going into the end. I think we're going to have a better chance of finding them there. Or maybe not. They don't appear to be as common as I remember them being in the past. Maybe that has changed, or maybe it's just the world gen has changed that. Either way, we can still craft them. Now, something else to note, you can also find this around the lava level inside of the nether as well. And you can even find them in the overworld. For the most part, this is all easy auto crafting. So long as you have an auto crafting solution, this is going to be the way to go. So the hardest part, I think, to make is going to be the dimensional cell. It is quite expensive when it comes to actually crafting the dimensional shards. But believe me, it is going to be so worth it. Now, we're also going to need to power these machines. And so what I want to do is I want to take our current power gen, that is this right here. And I've upgraded a few of these, by the way, just a couple of them. I want to get this and allow us to kind of use a wireless power, or a way to transfer power from one distance to another. And there's a couple of options, but we already have power, so might as well use power. And I really love the way that the power gates look. So if we go into power, I've already set up the auto crafts for this. And so all I need is an energy cell. So I'm going to use the hardened version. And so an energy cell, we can request that. And then I also need a hardened ender cell. So those two can get kind of confusing. So this one right here is an energy cell, and it's already going to start powering itself. But the ender cell is a little bit different. And I did go ahead and auto craft the ender cores and got those set up. So those should be processing as well. And nothing has to change with our automation for this, because it just works. That's the beauty of this little energizing orb automation. And now I just need to craft up some gates and get the power set up over here. So on the other side, I'm going to, just like we have our wireless player power, I'm going to set up our wireless power that is going to connect to our main system. So we have ourselves the ender cell, and then I just need to shift right click the energy cell in here, and this is going to be a power storage that has 3 channels associated with it. And we can use those gates. So this is going to be pretty nice to just wirelessly power anything. So now anything that needs power, yeah, we can just slap that gate on there, and that's going to provide up to 5,000 RF per tick, and it'll also allow up to 5,000 RF into our system as well. Now, out of all the things that I've done thus far, this has got to be the biggest step towards research and development towards the Guardian. And I'm pretty excited about this. Of course, the Chaos Guardian, that is. So the things that we're going to need, we can check out in the starting out quest. It talks about all of the things, and right here, we get ourselves some epic bags along the way whenever we do some of these rewards. So we do have some more chances of getting some really nice things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and grab the stuff. I've already got most of it crafted. And some of the main things we're going to need, of course, is a dimensional tab. And then, of course, we're going to need an inscriber. So this is how we actually create our dimlets. So the inscriber, essentially, the way that it works is you put in some of these digital dimlets to kind of give it a unique ID, and then you can name it, making sure it's lowercase, and it will inscribe. This is basically how you create your first random world, and random it will be, and random can be kind of scary. And so I do recommend having some sort of flight, something. You could get a world that is completely dark. You could get one that is an entire ocean. Yes, there is a lot of weirdness that can happen with these dimensions. Now, we also need a way of loading that world. And the way you do that is through a dimensional builder. So the dimensional builder, the way that this works is it just needs to receive power, and it is going to keep your dimension open in a open state. Once this reaches 100%, and will start to fill this thing's buffer. These dimensions can hold like 200 or not 200, like 20 million or something like that. It is quite a lot that they can hold. So I do need to worry about that, getting that all set up. And then we have the Dimlet workbench, which allows us to make dimlets, custom dimlets, which we're going to talk about dimlets here in a second. And then we have the dimension editor, which should allow us to pull out from, for example, this tablet, pull out our dimlets if we, for example, don't like the world. And then we have the knowledge. This says, which I don't remember using this too much, but the knowledge holder can store knowledge items. And so we do have a bunch of knowledge items that I wouldn't mind to be storing. So yeah, I'm going to put that there. The dimension editor right there, and our dimlet workbench over here. So with all of these machines in, we should be good. There's only a few of them that require power, being this one, for example. This is a major one that requires power, so we can slap some power in there. That's good to go. The dimensional editor needs this as well. And then we also have the dimlet workbench, which doesn't need it, and this that doesn't need it. Also, what do you got? You got anything good in here? No. Now, if you've been farming Enderman like I have, you should have a ton of dimlets. And I do. I have so many different dimlets. They all do different things. For example, these are biome, I do believe. Yeah, these are all biome ones. That allows us to modify the biome of the world, or a biome of the world, because it could have more than one biome. This is like block dimlets that have like different things. For example, this dimlet will guarantee glowstone. This one will have instone, andesite. There's like all kinds that we can get from just mobs themselves. This is nether gold ore, block of raw iron. Like all of these are kind of insane, actually. Amethyst. I'm seeing, is there anything else in here? Uranite ore from Powa. Like these are all great. Like those would be great. The uranite ore from Powa would be great just for raw EMC. But we could also find dimlets in the dimension too. So if we just generate a random dimension, we'll also find it. Notice all of these digital numbers here. I recommend using these. For example, 1. So whenever we get started, let's go ahead and claim our rewards here. So we've got golden carrots. This says we need to have a realized dimension. So let's go ahead and make our first dimension. So the way that I typically like to do this, I need to also have a transmitter and potentially receiver, just like this that we have set up down here. So now this is going to be used to teleport to these dimensions. And it's pretty darn cool. Once we have this set up, the dialing device will have access to all of our created dimensions. So keep in mind what you do name these, because that is going to be important. And these are going to need some power. So I'll get that power. These are the main things that's important. You don't technically need a receiver, especially if you have a warp stone, but you may still want one. I'm actually going to be creating the way to teleport around with RFTools. So now that we have all of those, we will call this dim return. That's going to be the name of that. And dim out. Dim out. Now the way that I can teleport back to that other location is by using a charge porter. I will shift right click on this matter receiver. And now anytime that I want to teleport back home, I just right click and it almost instant teleports us. It is so much faster than using, for example, a warp stone. Okay, so now you're probably yelling at me like, Chosen, just make the dimension already. Show me how this works. And I am going to show you how this bad boy works. So all we need, like I said, is an empty dimension. And I'm going to be creating our first random one by placing this in this slot here, and then putting our key, which is just a number of 1. And this is kind of what makes these different, right? So each digital dimlet, you can kind of put multiple different numbers in here to change the ID technically of the dimension that we're generating. It's still going to be a random dimension, but this is a good way to, for example, do this. And we'll call this world 1. And I'm going to leave it all like this. I'm just going to leave it world 1. And I'm going to store that information. So now that we've stored world 1 with dimlet of 1 in there, this is now a random dimension because I don't know what it's going to generate yet. But once we do have it realized, then we will know what it has generated. So let's go ahead. And now that we have this, we can go ahead and claim rewards. Please give me something good. Give me something good. And what did it give me? Oh, we actually got a matter receiver. That's kind of funny. Oh, wait, no, we got chorus flower. Oh, man. I was really hoping we get something crazy from that. I'm still, my fingers are crossed because we still haven't done this one yet. But anyways, enough of that. Now that we have ourselves our realized dimension, we can start to generate it. And this is how we generate it. As soon as we put it in here, it's going to start generating the world much like a server would generate a new dimension or new world. And it's going to start using our power, and that power is going to start charging this. So you can see, though, there is a creation cost and a maintenance cost. The maintenance cost on this is going to be 21 RF per tick. So it is going to cost that amount. Make sure this stays loaded. You do not want your dimension to collapse on you if you were inside it. I do not recommend doing that. Now, you may be kind of protected with your current gear if you're wearing gym armor, but it's just not worth it. Also, don't let these run out of power either. But now, we should, now that this is up and running, and sustaining, now you can see it's filling up that huge buffer. So if you really wanted to, limiting the power would be a good idea. I don't know if you can actually limit the IO on these. You can, however, with Flux Networks. So that might be something better to use for this, just to make sure we're not always filling this up. Anyways, now that that's done, we should be able to see the world set here, and we can now dial once, or dial, whenever we use dial once, we're only, when it'll go away whenever we teleport to it. But now we should have a new dimension that we should have access to, and we have multiple ways of getting back home. We have our warp stone, and we also have the charge porter. So without further ado, let's see what this random world has generated. Oh boy. I never know what to expect. Okay, so this is a flat world, and it is also dark. I do not know, though, if time is changing or if it is just constantly dark here. It does look like time is progressing, but notice there's structures everywhere. Yes, so it can also handle structures. You can have custom structures show up in here, and we could actually get some structures that we need. Now, I don't have to worry about coming back to this platform. This does ship with a fully ready to go matter receiver that does have power in it. And yes, you could take that from this dimension and also all the other pads. The main thing I'm looking for are these right here. So let's turn on some night vision since it is dark. I'll let that guy stay there. These chests will have dimlets in them. So definitely worth grabbing as many dimlets as you can, because there are some dimlets that you can only get from here. Now, other information about this world, I don't really know just yet. We kind of have to do some exploring and kind of see, like, what is our current Y level? This is really high up. This is kind of like a mining dimension, really. At Y level 120, we have all of this ore here. I mean, that is significant. Looks like we're getting a bunch of knowledge. We have tons of knowledge back at the base. But yeah, it looks like just a regular mining dimension. We would actually have to break this apart, I believe, to see exactly what this dimension contains in it. This is pretty cool, though. I don't remember this structure. I've not even seen one of these in the overworld yet. So seeing it out here is kind of nifty. And I wonder, there should be loot contained in here. Yeah, if it generates in the overworld, it should generate here. But now my main journey is, of course, going through all of these chests and just trying my best to loot these structures. These should spawn, I believe, in just about every single one of these dimensions. For example, that's a Badlands, that's a digital dimlet. What I'm really looking for are the physical dimlets for like the items that generate in the world. And we could get all kinds. We can get some that generate diamonds. We can get some that generates ancient debris in the world. Anything that has a high number of high value EMC, I definitely want spawning in the world. Now, this right here was something that I don't remember getting from our Enderman, and that is a legendary dimlet. Ooh, that could be very nice as well. And I also want to keep an eye out for some very specific mobs that can spawn here too. So it does talk about it in the quest, and it's called Dimlet Diving. This right here, you have a common, a rare, and legendary. These are blobs that we will find in this world, and we'll have to hopefully take them out. They can be pretty chunky though, pretty big. Ooh, this right here. So there is something interesting that does spawn here. Okay. Oh, and we have like giant orbs of concrete that spawn. Oh, look, there's blobs down here. So there we go. So we already get access to some blobs. These guys have a lot of health. Perfect. But thankfully we can use our Qatar to take them out. And they also have regeneration as well. These are just your regular common blobs though. And we need these if we want to make our own custom dimlets. These structures right here are so cool. They're just full of copper. Just so many building materials. All right, I can definitely see myself spending a lot of time in here. Speaking of time, this is a time dimlet. Now, I can't make this up, but this dimlet is a block of netherite dimlet. That is insane. I will say, though, it's not going to help us very much because it doesn't have EMC. So as much as I would love to have an entire dimension full of netherite, which would probably, by the way, cost a whole lot to keep it running, yeah, it definitely has a cost. You can see it underneath the cost section there. It's not going to help us with EMC. I would love to find its counterpart, which would be ancient debris, for example. I just got to keep searching. And like, for example, that's a good reason to come to this dimension in the first place. All of this exploring, and you never know what you're going to find. So after rummaging around here quite a bit, I'm not really finding any good dimlets. And also the world itself, well, isn't really providing that much for me. So I'm thinking about, you know, heading out of here and maybe deconstructing this world and trying to create a new different world that may contain, for example, some better structure gen. Now, after getting back, all I have to do is pull out our realized dimension and I can actually extract the dimlets out of here. So I can go extract, and now this is an empty dimlet that has a dimlet key of 1 in it. So I should be able to go through here and hopefully set up a dimension 2. So now, instead of letting everything generate randomly, how about we start utilizing some of the dimlets that we have? And in my particular case, I do have a gold ore dimlet. And now if you're going to have a block dimlet, you can either use a terrain or a feature. And in my case, I do want to use a feature. So what I want to do is I want to modify the feature dimlet by placing the block material in front of it whenever we set it up inside of our inscriber. Now I'm just going to let the terrain just sort of generate on its own, just whatever it's going to generate. But the way we do this, I'm going to set a digital key of 0 for right now. That really isn't that important. Notice how it errors out. That's because we need to tell it what to actually modify. And so it's going to modify the feature dimlet, which is cubes. Should just be a solid cube in this case. And then I'm going to place in a terrain dimlet, should generate something like the end islands. And I'll call this gold 1. Because we may end up needing to make more than one of these if this particular world doesn't turn out to be the way that I want it to. So now I store this and we have a little bit of information here. Maintenance costs, 130 RF, creation costs, all of that fun stuff. And so now I should be able to place it in here and hope that it generates correctly. Now, you may encounter while generating dimensions, potential crashes. And it's so hard for me to set up RFTools Dimensions and just prevent certain crashes from happening. And right now, I know there is a main problem as of the time of this recording that involves the structure crashing within the structures mod, or it's called foundations, right? And so I don't really want to remove that mod, but I've tried everything in my power to prevent RFTools from even generating those structures, but it's still for some reason doing that. But in this particular case, we should be good. This is filling up. And so if your world does crash, just reloading back into your world should fix it. And there shouldn't be any harm done. There's also now a backup mod in here. So if anything if something fails dramatically, you still should have a backup inside of the simple backups folder. Now, with all of that scary stuff out of the way, let's see what our gold world looks like. And I'm fingers crossed this is glorious. All right, here we go into this new dimension that is costing us a little bit of power. We should be good. Oh boy, loading this terrain. Okay, this is a sky island. I'm not seeing any cubes just yet. Cubes of gold ore anywhere? Maybe they're, hidden or down there. Oh, this is amazing. Yes, this is just entire cubes of gold glorious ore. For example, one vein mine of this. Let's make sure we are in shapeless. One vein mine of this. I have gathered quite a bit of EMC. It's not as good as it would be if we had another material, but a quarry on this? Oh, this is fantastic early on. I definitely need to get my RFTools quarry up and running. And what we can do is we can specify in this world, hey, only break gold ore. But man, while I'm here, look, this right here, this bad boy's got 1,024 health. Thankfully, this sword does it. Oh man, I just got to find a legendary version of this guy. But there we go. That is pretty nice. This is a really nice world gen here. I mean, definitely with the gold. Like, the gold is amazing. Oh my goodness. And in this world being the sky, we have access to the trial chambers. Yes. Oh, this will be perfect to do the trials in. Now, if you have trouble finding the trial chambers in the overworld, you can actually trade with a cartographer, and the cartographer actually will give you a map that allows you to get there. But of course, you can always use your compass as well. But looks like we have one just right here in our world. That's fantastic. Now, upgrading our quarry card is going to be pretty nice. We can make ourselves a gas tier. Let's go ahead and make sure we learn that with creeper glands. I should be able to upgrade this into a fortune quarry card. So that is going to be very nice. And I have it set up right now to just convert it all into dirt. But I might actually want to set this into a fortune clearing quarry card. That is going to be pretty nice. Let's do this. I'm going to shift right click and it's going to throw the ore in here. That should be more than fine into the filter. And then I'm going to set up my builder right here and put our lever on here. I'm going to put a barrel on top, and this barrel is going to have a compacting upgrade in here. And what this is going to hopefully do is compact all of the raw gold into blocks of raw gold, which is going to be very handy. So all I have to do now to get this selected is we shift right click on here, and then I'm going to right click this first corner, and then I just need to go down to the very bottom of this, and I need to now right click the next corner. And so now the entire cube here is essentially set up and configured, and all we have to do is place this inside. I shouldn't have to worry about anything else. Grab ourselves a gate to give it power, and then let it rip. And there it goes. All of that ore should be going into here and getting compressed into blocks, generating so much EMC so quickly. Now, this is just purely step one of my endeavor, as there is a lot more that we can do. Most blocks can be turned into a terrain modifier. So all we have to do, if we want to make our own custom dimlet down the road, is we just need to gain a certain amount of those items, and we need to feed it into the RFTools dimension blocks. Now, there's a block absorber, there's also a fluid absorber, and there's a biome absorber. Keep in mind, Mekanism stuff, the fluids are disabled, so I tried my best to disable most of the Mekanism fluids, but there are structure absorbers, all kinds of craziness. The block absorbers, though, need 256 blocks of that material that it needs to absorb in order for it to create or allow you to make a dimlet down the road. Now, I was thinking, now that I have all of this gold here, what if I made the entire, like, I don't know, same dimension, but instead of just the ore, we actually do the raw ore blocks, like, already ready to go. And this could be even crazier, but this gives me a chance to, like, craft my first sort of dimlet as well. So the way that I do this is you can go in here, I'll click this button, and we should be able to go in here and find gold. For example, here's gold ore, but what we're wanting is block of raw gold. So this tells me right here the ingredients that I'm going to need. I'm going to need one of these rare energy modules, and I'm also going to need a rare memory module from the looks of it. And then I'm also going to need a common and rare dimensional essence, which we just got. Thankfully, this does not require legendary. And then I'm also going to need a block absorber that I'm assuming is filled with the raw gold. Now, crafting these modules is where things get a little expensive with, for example, those dimensional essences. Now, for the block absorber, I think I can use, for example, a wand, and we should be able to do it like right in here. And you can place down, I think, more than one of the block types underneath here. and I'll build up like this. And then if I place the block absorber on top of this, yeah, it should consume it. Now it'll also consume it, I believe, like this. Yes, perfect. So I think what I can do is I'll put this in my offhand, and I'll just build up like this until we have all 256 of them completely stored inside the block absorber. Ooh, we are almost there, and... oh, nope. Well, that's not going to work. I've got to place these manually on the bottom, just like that. And now whenever we break this, we should see that it now has 100% progress. And I think we can now craft our dimlet. So I have this set up here. I crafted an empty dimlet. It says it needed these things, but I think it was just this up top. And then I need to go back into the gold and then select the one I want, which is going to be block of raw gold here, and then hit create, and it should create the dimlet. Assuming that I have everything, which I may not. Actually, maybe this just needs to be in here. No, it has to go in one of these slots, I think. So I'm wondering, maybe these essences don't need to be in here. Like, this is, I think, all of the stuff. This is the block dimlet. I have it selected. I hit create and nothing. Oh goodness, I completely forgot about one whole aspect of this. And that is how to actually utilize these knowledges, because that's how you actually unlock the ability to craft these things. Oh my goodness. We need ourselves a researcher, and I completely forgot about this part of this entire thing. Okay, so I'm almost positive that the best way to do this is, for example, like a hopper system, just like hopper or pipe these in and out. And so let's grab a barrel, and I'm just going to place this in the corner for right now. So what we're going to have is, I don't know if we actually need to hopper out of here, but we're going to place this and our researcher, and then we're going to have a hopper that hoppers the research in, and then we can place the research here. Okay, and this also needs power, so let's smack a gate onto it. Perfect. So what I really need is the rare research to be uncovered, and I really hope that we actually uncover this. So that is going to get stored in here. Oh, actually, maybe having the hopper on here is not a good idea. It's going to dump the whole thing. Can it research the whole stack? I know we can accelerate this with our pouch. So let's accelerate that. Okay. I've got some seismic activity happening in the base. There we go. And now this, oh, this is actually showing us our stuff. Okay. So that's perfect, actually. And then we place the research into our knowledge holder once it has been discovered. Oh, I think though this right here is the one we need, which is the rare block. If I put that there, aha, now we can see it and actually craft it. Oh goodness. I was starting to worry there for a minute. Okay. So now that we have that, that should be it, right? We should be able to do gold. Block of raw gold. I can click that now. Oh, and we're going to have this particular pattern in here. Ooh. Thankfully, this dimension is really good for finding these blobs. I just have to find the rare ones. Oh, perfect. There's one right here. But was that enough? Actually, that is enough. Perfect. So now that I have this, let's grab the one that I had in my storage. Let's get our gold and select this and then build out the pattern that it wants. And then we should be able to hit create. And this will be a block of raw gold. So I hope I have everything here, I think. I'm going to try one last time. This should be everything I need. I'm going to put this back in here. Maybe that will change things. Oh, I have these in the wrong position. They were in the wrong slot. Okay, that should work now, and hit create. Oh, and there we go. Woo! This has been a journey relearning, I should say, how the dimlet machine works, because it's been so long since I've used this. Oh man, this is so much fun. Okay, so I do need to go back to my dimension, and I'm going to actually regenerate that one, but modify the block. So I think this is now ready for the true gold ore experience. So let's place this here. We will extract, and I just need to replace the gold ore with this raw block of gold ore. Gold raw block. Store it, and hopefully this will be a good dimension once it's realized. So now for the moment of truth. Walking through this portal, Oh man, and hoping to see entire blocks of gold. Oh, this is going to be glorious. Let's see. Oh, that is glorious. Nothing like raw ore. Oh, it's just so 18,000 EMC per pop, per block break. This is fantastic. And now, just like before, all of the settings now copied. I removed the filter. We should just be able to flip it on. And this should start mining. Oh, wait. Of course, I got to put the card in there. I just configured the card. There we go. Just blocks and blocks at a time. And this could go even faster if this was, of course, sped up. Ooh, I'm going to take advantage of that guy. Perfect. But yeah, this is just, I mean, we just watched the EMC go up. It's going up so much. And now I am going to have to manually input this into my system for right now because I don't have a great way of converting this just yet. Unless I, for example, hooked this up to like an MK, like a condenser, and condensed it into a higher value. That could be something I could do. So, I mean, this could 100% work. Like take the magenta matter, for example, and then just pipe these items in. The blocks directly out of here. Of course, put a speed upgrade in here. Actually, if I shut this off, I could just immediately insert. Like, of course, I'm going to put it in right now, but I could just have this automatically send into the condenser. Like, yeah, that should work. So as soon as I turn this on, yeah, we should just see the value just going up. And I can make this even better by just using a block of this material. So there we go. So I do have to learn this. But there we go. Yeah, I'll just set this to a block. And perfect. Now we have even more. And so this right here is going to allow us to produce even more EMC and worry so much less about it for right now. This is going to chomp away at this, and it's going to take quite a while. I can only imagine how much is actually stored inside this cube. But you know what? I can do the math, and this is a 39 by 39 by 39 cube. So after doing the math, there's about 59,319 blocks of this in here, which means this will equate, when fully harvested out, to 1.9 billion EMC from just one of these cubes. Now, of course, is this the best material to use? Definitely not. I think there are other materials that would probably be better that we could use, but this was the easiest, in my opinion, to actually obtain and set up. Looky there. We also get tons of these things to spawn. This guy right here. Oof. Definitely going to need that. That is legendary essence right there. So now with this chunk loaded, I can just kind of let it hang out, and this should be able to easily store and hold that much while we just make sure that we have enough power for it. And that is RFTools Dimensions in a nutshell. However, it can get way more powerful, especially if you structure hunt and other things like that. Now, I know today was a bit of a longer episode, but if you enjoy videos like these, let me know down in the comments below. What also do you think is the best material to use in a setup like this? Maybe you've discovered something that is way easier and cooler to set up. I only have so much time to do research, so it is very, very cool to see what you guys have to say down in the comments below. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up, as it really helps out, you know, the whole YouTube algorithm thing. And with that being said, it is now time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Solar Moon. Thank you so much, by the way, for your amazing support by choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting me in one of the best ways possible. I thank you so very much, all of you, for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And of course, as always, can't say it enough. Thanks for watching. Bye!